So I've got a fan clutch that won't disengage, and the first thing I had was a problem with it engaging. So I installed a switch inside the cab a couple years ago, and that solved the problem. If I was going up a hill and I was overheating a little bit, I just switched this on, the fan clutch would engage and everything would be fine. So that only took a few minutes, and that was a good fix, because I really only need the fan clutch when I'm towing heavy up a hill. So then it just started staying on all the time, and I've had that problem for a while now, and I want to get it fixed because I got a big long trip that I need to go on and pick up a machine, and it's really kind of annoying with that fan running all the time, because with that thing running all the time, it's not really meant to do that. So it's just putting a lot of wear on things, and I could be hours away from home in another state somewhere, and something catastrophic could happen with that, and then the next thing I know, I got a busted up radiator and a giant tow bill, because they got to tow the truck and the trailer and whatever's on the trailer. So I really want to get that fixed as soon as possible. So the way these fan clutches work is they're always engaged until you turn on the truck and apply air to it, and the air releases the spring, kind of like air parking brakes. So there's a little solenoid right there, and I can't remember how the electronics work, but I think when you give it ground, which is supposed to come from the ECM, when you give it ground, it lets air pass through there, goes down this hose and right into the fan clutch. And you can see it goes right down into the fan hub, and then the clutch is right there. And I actually had that whole assembly off when I replaced the water pump when I first got this truck, and it was kind of a pain. The biggest pain is getting that fan off. Once you got that off, it's not too bad from there. But just to eliminate all the other problems that I could be having with it, because you can have a bad solenoid, you can have a bad connection to the solenoid, you could have a blockage in the air going to the fan clutch, but I've eliminated all that, and let me show you how. So the only way that this actually disengages is when you have the key on, which is kind of annoying because the buzzer turns on, so you can't really hear a whole lot, but you turn that on. So I don't know if you can hear that, but so I'm gonna release the air. So that last one was me just turning off the key, and that let the air out, which engages the clutch again. Because you're using air when you're trying to back off the spring, so you don't want that to be on necessarily while the truck is off. It's just putting a lot of wear on things. So you're relaxing the spring when the truck is off. So just to check to make sure this solenoid actually is working, let me take off this fitting right here and we'll see if it blows air out. So the truck is off right now, so it's not going to blow any air out, but we'll test it out. And this, remember, this line goes to the fan clutch. So nothing's going to come out of here, it's going to come out of here. So that tells us that the solenoid is working. That's just a nice, quick, and easy test for that solenoid. So the way I'm going to try to work this is to release these radiator support bars here, right here. And then I'm probably going to take the intake going from the turbo and to the turbo from the intercooler off here. And then I should be able to flop this radiator forward. It's not going to want to go too far because the coolant hoses are still on here. So it's possible I may have to drain the coolant just to be able to do that. I'm hoping not, but that's how I did it last time because I was doing a water pump, so it made sense to just drain the coolant anyways. But I'm hoping not to have to do that this time. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to take off the 9/16 bolts on the front of this fan. Hopefully we can squeeze this fan out of here. Oh, excuse me, nuts, not bolts. It's been a while since I've done this. I don't remember this.
That's why I was like, well, he's here now. I was like, I'll talk to him now.
What are you doing?
I can't, so I know what I'm doing.
Okay, so I can't really get the fan out without a lot of work, but it seems to be out of the way enough where I should be able to just take this whole fan clutch assembly, the hub, out. So I just need to take those bolts out, loosen the belt, take the belts off, and then I should be able to pop that out of there. So there's little Allen keys inside of here, and you can just put the wrench right through these holes to get them out. So I guess the way this works is the air goes in here and it comes out right here. And this piece here has an O-ring and it's all rusty, and I had a hard time getting it out of there. I'm almost wondering if I don't clean up this surface, clean up that surface, and put it back together, just put it on here anyways like this, maybe it'll start moving, because that's pretty seized up right there. Put a little grease on there too, that would help. Definitely really dirty in there. See, now that just came right off, so definitely freed that up a lot. I'm just gonna put 2 bolts back in and see if that did anything.
Have you taken this apart already?
Yeah.
How many times?
All right, so basically what I did is kind of cage the brakes, so to speak. So everything is loose, like it should be spinning right here. This should be spinning separate from here, but it's not. There's like a friction disc on the outside, and I can feel it's loose. Like you can see it moving. So it should be spinning right now. It's not. I'm almost thinking stuff is just sort of corroded. Maybe I just need to free things up. It's still not spinning. Might be a bad bearing in there. This is that friction material that I was talking about. It sort of like wedges itself in there. See that? So this should be spinning. You know, I'm almost thinking I have it too tight and maybe it's actually hitting the other side now. But this thing is spring loaded, so when I'm loosening these bolts, I'm gonna stay on this side of it because if anything, this thing's gonna shoot that way. I wanna also keep my fingers clear of it. Nothing should happen. I'm gonna do it slowly, but just in case. Okay, so these bolts aren't long enough to really back it out all the way safely, so I'm gonna just put a clamp on for the rest of the way. That does spin freely. I don't know. Maybe it's just from being locked up so long. Yeah, I don't know. Everything looks good in here. I think this surface just being corroded is what our problem is. It's just not able to spin freely. And this one too. And then even the friction disc could use a little bit of scuffing up. I think that's probably what our problem is. It's probably been stuck closed for so long that it's corroded a little bit, or a lot of it, and by just sand that down, should be good to go. I'm hoping. I don't see what else it could be because the air is actually moving the components, it's just not moving them enough. So I'm thinking that that's just not releasing. So I'm just going to take some, start out with 120 grit. Yeah, let's not do that over the bearing. So I'm just going to start out with 120 and work my way to 400 like you're polishing a crank or something. And then I think that should do it. Both bearings feel good. Actually, yeah, all 4 bearings seem good. You know, if this is your first time seeing this kind of problem and you don't have a semi-truck and you've never priced it out, you're thinking probably, why don't you just get a new fan clutch? Well, a new fan clutch is between $1,500 and $2,500. So if I can just free up a little corrosion and have it back on the road without even going to the store, then I'm way ahead. Because I got to pick up a machine this weekend. I wasn't trying to lay this up and go and buy parts and spend the whole weekend trying to buy parts and put them in. If I can do it today, I actually have an alignment scheduled for my truck later today, so either way, it had to go back together today, whether it worked or not. And I guess I'm not totally sure that it still works, but I'm pretty sure that it will when I put it back together. Just gotta clean it up good. All right, so I put it up here and I hooked it up to the air and I can't get it freed up, but I have no idea why. It should be freed up. I really don't know why it wouldn't be. But at this point, I think I'm just gonna put it back together because I need to make my alignment appointment. There's not a lot of places that do alignments, so when you get an appointment, you wanna definitely keep it. And otherwise it's like 2 weeks out, so. There is a chance that it might still spin and it's just more friction than I can do by hand. So that is a possibility, but let me just get it back in and I guess we'll see. All right, turn on the key. Lock them solid. Oh, look at that. Sweet. That is awesome.
Sweet. You turn it off, see if it's up.
All right, go ahead. There we go. Locked up solid. That is awesome. I don't know why it wasn't free before. That's weird. Just like, I guess the leverage from this being a foot out gives you more leverage to turn it. Plus it's mounted too, so that's definitely a big thing. Now I'm excited. I want to try this. If you could just take tension off of the hood, then I could kind of pull this back. No, it needs to go more. Hold on. All right, hold on. Okay. That seems to be, I think you're good. I just had to get the bolt through.
That's a hell of a lot of fiberglass.
What do you mean, the hood? I think the whole thing is fiberglass.
Yep.
All right, so this is without the fan, and this is with the fan. With the fan, without the fan. Here, let me roll up the window just so you can see. Without the fan, with the fan. Yeah, it probably doesn't really pick up that much on camera, but it's really loud. I'm gonna leave the fan on and take off. Right? I'm gonna start right out in first. now you can hear it. So now I'm going to show you without the fan. Big difference. You can actually hear the turbo. I always thought these point of view videos are pretty cool, where you can actually see everything that somebody's doing while they're driving. So that's why we're going to drive around for a little bit. It'd sound a lot better if I had a big old excavator on the back, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to hook up an excavator just to show you. Can play with the Jake brake a little bit though. I mean, it's the middle of the day. It's the middle of a Saturday. Nobody's gonna be sleeping. I ain't worried about it. Looks good. All right, well, I don't think we really need a fancy outro to this video. I know there wasn't much content in this video, but I got a couple of huge videos coming up, actually like 4 of them. So I just wanted to throw this one out there in the meantime while you guys are waiting. Been a lot of work involved in what I'm doing right now. So I am really glad that I got this fixed though, because that was extremely annoying with that fan going full force like that all the time. And I'm sure it uses more fuel and more of the power, especially when it doesn't need it. When I'm driving along, unless I'm towing really heavy and uphill for a while, I don't need to turn that on. I could be towing 30,000 pounds with the 20,000 pound trailer, so 50,000 pounds, and I'd have to be going up a big hill for a long time to even have to turn that fan on. So 95% of the time I don't need that fan on. So this definitely helps out by being able to control it. But it's hard to even get a price on these fan clutches because some places want like $1,500. Some people were saying from the dealer it's like $2,500. I was seeing some of them for $500, but I think that was more of a rebuild kit, and I don't even know how to get the rebuild kit for this exact fan clutch. So at the minimum we saved $500, and at the maximum we saved $2,000, $2,500, somewhere's in the middle. So I guess it pays to spend a couple hours with your truck or your machine once in a while, get to know it a little bit better. Because I didn't really know how those fan clutches work, but now I do. So now if there's a problem along the road, I kind of know a little bit better about it. But anyways, that's it for this video, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.